They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Hey everyone, it is the Friday FOH All, and we're back. It has hit the fan, folks, and the deep state is a very real organization. That was actual footage of an actual scumbag Democrat in the actual Congress in actual D.C. that was trying to defend the deep state. They're a cadre. Why not call them a fucking cartel? But the deep state is made up of more than the FBI or Merrick Garland and his Attorney General's office or the overall Department of Justice. The deep state is more than the Senate and the House of Representatives. The deep state is more than just the bureaucracy, the IRS, the ATF, the DHS. Name your alphabet. I'm trying to be nice. Name your alphabet fruitcake mix, right? And it's the deep state. But it's more than that. It's also in our monetary system at the Federal Reserve. They're part of the deep state. The financial system in our country, which is the smaller private banks, not the large private banks, the smaller private banks, and lending institutions and investment institutions. They are pushing environmental social governments, ESG, which means bring woke into a corporation. They're pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Another three-letter sack of piece of shit, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion means more fruitcakes and more wokeness and more destruction. It is rich people are part of the deep state. And don't forget legal organizations. For example, the Communist Anti-Defamation League, or you could say the Fascist Anti-Defamation League, comes out with a discussion talking point today saying that, remember that mass murderer in Nashville? This mass murderer in Nashville, whose manifesto they hid from us so we couldn't see it. We're like, we want to see it. And they kept blinders on us so we couldn't see it. The mass murdering transgender, murderous transgender, murdering, child murdering, trans murderer in Nashville. The ADL, Anti-Defamation League, is trying to say that person is not or was not a left-wing extremist. The evidence is in your face, unfucking believable, folks. Evidence to the contrary are the claims of the ADL. That person and all the other fruitcakes that are violent are left-wing. There is no such thing as a right-wing trans activist who wants to get violent. If there is a trans person who is I love how people like to say, well, I'm a fiscal conservative, even though I like to put my penis through glory holes down at the bus station. Yeah, that's not a Republican. That's not a libertarian. That is someone who's trying to cut their taxes, but they want to go stick their dick through a hole at a glory hole at a bus station. Now, all of these people are left-wing fruitcakes. It's an egregious example, folks, of the deep state and their socialist retardation, and they're evil. Folks, they're evil. They're trying to say that someone who targeted children and this school because it was Christian and adults because they were a transgender freak who didn't like what they had done to themselves and other people and hated that school and hated children and hated everyone. Folks, hate is the left. Period. Hate is the left. Now, let us finish up, if we shall, with more off the rails, off the hooks, stupidity by left-wing fools. Yet another trans activist today is making my fucking point. This fruitcake luckily was arrested before they killed anybody. They were at a pro-life march. That's right, folks. Pro-life students wanting to have a pro-life march called the March for Life. Coincidentally, it was a rally where people who believe in the sanctity of life, the American way, law and order wanted to meet. So what happens? One of these violent left-wing trans fruitcakes shows up and starts attacking people and had to be arrested and haul their unhinged, unintelligent ass off to jail. Once again, let us make this perfectly clear. Transgenders, trans activists, trans supporters are violent left-wing freaks. They're taking lots of mind-altering hormones, folks. They're taking lots of mind-altering drugs like antidepressants to help them deal with their mental problems that they claim aren't mental problems. They take all these drugs in an effort to feel good about themselves while blaming everyone else for how bad they feel, instead of looking in a fucking mirror and going, hey, I think I've seen that person before. They're an asshole. Right? And they're prone to violence because of these hormones racing through their bodies. Like a little girl, or rather the transgender murderer, the transgender child mass murderer of Louisville, right, is left-wing. It's taking mind-altering drugs. Let's see, a girl wants to be a boy, so she's taking testosterone. Oh, yeah, she had a fucking testosterone anger rage fit. Whoops. They're prone to violence when their insanity, folks, is presented with reality. So this fruitcake at a pro-life rally, the March for Life, could not keep themselves together. They got triggered, had to run out there with their fucking trans flag. I almost called it another effing flag. Fucking trans flag. Causing trouble, attacking people. Why can't they just leave other people alone? Well, they're. Well, I mean, what does trans activism have to do with abortion? Making some points here, aren't we? Why the fuck is a trans fruitcake bothering people who want babies to be safe? Because it's all part of the same agenda. Anything that is right, decent, and moral, they hate. They want to push for evil. I mean, why can't this trans activist just go home, grab a cucumber out of the fridge, and go enjoy themselves and leave everyone else out of their fucking sick lives? That's what I think of them. They're fucking idiots. Now, I've been talking about how people who are Christians, right, they're being attacked and killed by these trans fruitcakes who are right now the front runners, the front violent face of Democrat anti-Americanism. Well, I've got this right here. Oh, by the way, it is Friday, and I'm supposed to go back and forth with your guys' questions, shotgunning as it were. We've had a cyber attack, by golly, and we have a smaller crowd than not. So get your questions down below. Ooman will let me know, and we'll sprinkle them in from time to time here and get your comments, thoughts, suggestions, ideas, fears, etc. out on the board. For now, though, I'm going to continue until Ooman gives me the signal. I think we have some holdover cyber attack problems today on the Prepared Mind. So, to continue with the Christian attack, this is not a channel about Christianity. This is a channel about people who have a belief in goodness who are being attacked. You can say, well, I'm not a Christian, so I don't have to worry about those stupid trans freaks. Okay, so you're a moral good person. What are you basing that on? Are you just basing it on the secular traditional history of the United States of America? Well, got news for you. Those people were deists, meaning they believe in a God. So you're still under that umbrella of morality that the left hates. Anyways, folks, they're now calling people who love America and are Christian, they're calling them Christian nationalists. Yeah, let's try and make them sound, so bad in some way. So what they've discovered, folks, is Christians in the military feel that they're being persecuted. I don't know how that can be, since there's this incredible push to cut off your genitals. If you're a guy, start wearing lipstick and fishnet stockings, do a weenie tuck, shove your balls in your own rectum, and then walk around with a screeching voice demanding everyone kiss their ass and use the proper pronouns. That is not how you win a fucking war. So Christians, yeah, they're feeling persecuted with all this diversity, equity, and inclusion, with all the environmental social governance bleed over into the military. So Christians feel like they're being persecuted, and the U.S. military is concurrently discovering that they're having a recruitment crisis. We've talked about the Army, we've talked about the Navy, and they're blaming the Christians for it in a way. Well, it's partially due to the Christians and conservatives that don't like woke policies. Yeah, well, you fucking hit it on the head. That's exactly what it's about. And by the way, leftist turd scumbags, they don't all want to go in the military just to get their genitals chopped off. They can do just fine without the military. But it's important to note that none of this is an accident. This is all intentional, shit-eating the fan policy. That's right, folks. Biden policies are never an accident. As stupid as he is, someone else is writing his speeches. As dumb as that son of a bitch is, there is a lawyer writing legislation for what he talks about. Right? As plastic banana, good time, rock and roll as his crap is, all of his fireside chat bullshit and his Hitler-esque posturing, there's a slimy little left-wing weaselly attorney writing speeches, pushing his Green New Deal, pushing Biden Build Back Better, open border policy. Let's go fight a fucking war in Europe that we pay for. It's all intentional. It's never an accident. All government actions, not just the president, are done in an effort to fulfill an agenda, to follow the narrative of the day. And the agenda and narrative is to destroy our nation because America must be bad. So that's how Christians feel. And Trump today came out and said this, right? He made a promise. He declared. Well, that sounds like a campaign promise. If you're going to make a promise during a campaign, it's a campaign promise. So take notes and demand Trump, if elected, takes action. Now, what did he say? He said he's going to defend Christians from continued persecution. Good. I'd like to see how he does that. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying I want the fight in everyone's faces. I'm tired of this backroom, smoke-filled crap decision-making process where we don't see or hear any of it, and it all sneaks out and creeps out through the oozing wounds of these college-age leftist farts walking around on the street who can't get their shit together. And they just blah, 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 mention talking points, and then chanting like ridiculous idiots slogans given to them by their professors. No, I want the fight to be real and in front of a camera so everyone can see it, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter or CNN or, put it on CNN. Get this fucking fight in the open. Trump says no one will take down Cross of Christ under his administration. Well, that's a big declaration. It truly is, folks. But we do have a religious war. It's part of the battle, the SHTF world war that has started. Now, is law going to matter, or are we just going to go with policy and ridiculous beliefs of the day? Well, at Columbia University, Jewish students have filed a lawsuit against the university because the university allowed anti-Semitism to flourish. And they said it was both severe and pervasive. Have we or have we not seen footage of it, folks? These radical left-wing, anti-American, pro-Palestinian, pro-terrorist punks calling people the nastiest of names, going after Jews, going after Israelis, saying they're going to destroy them all, murder them all, kill them all, commit genocide until every last one is dead, yada, yada, yada. Folks, here's what's important to note. This is a spiritual, religious, moral battle as part of World War III and SHTF. If we're going to hang on to our lives, our legal system, to some degree while we get through 2024, it needs to happen. Right? We're watching the complete destruction of the legal judicial system through the Trump trials. If they're not going to stand up to their fucking jobs, like the Border Patrol closing the border, then they're defunct and they're out of fucking business. If the courts are not going to respect the Constitution, due process, the Bill of Rights, and common law practices that they claim were codified into the statutory system, which is a crock of shit in itself. Still, there needs to be some semblance of normalcy. So, well, the administration of justice requires uniformity in process and decision in order for it to function. Because how the fuck can anybody make a decision about anything if they don't know whether they're on the right or the left side of the law? You have to know. How can otherwise? Well, ignorance of the law is no excuse, and we'll throw you in jail, says the Washington, D.C. courts. All right. Now, let's get back to Columbia University and the Jews who are filing complaints. Once a complaint is filed, folks, a school, an employer, or even the government absolutely must investigate it and put an end to any discrimination, especially if it is both severe and or pervasive. It's not allowed. Discrimination is not allowed. And no, and I mean no retribution against anyone filing a complaint is allowed, or the lawsuit will inevitably and rightfully win against that college. I would have complained day fucking one to the college and put them on notice with legal filings. I would say this is not just severe and pervasive, it's fucking egregious. And it's threatening violence. And it needs to be stopped by the school, who is charged with maintaining this, right? Schools, you bet colleges, you bet they have policies. They have people in place. They're not allowed to discriminate. They're not allowed to allow threats. I mean, how would anyone feel if this big, giant, tall white guy was allowed to go on to, I don't know, how about this? An all-girls campus, a Catholic girls' college. What if I went onto a Catholic girls' college ground and started threatening to rape women? Do you think they would allow that? Well, hell, I didn't do anything. I was just threatening it. They'd say, that's pretty severe. And your remarks, John, were very pervasive and damn egregious and taken seriously. Like I would ever do that. But for some reason, colleges, schools, employers, and government folks are all just ignoring the fact that they're required to protect everybody. Jews, Christians, even Muslims. No one's allowed to go and attack them because of their religion or threaten them because of their national heritage. But I guess we're going to have to go play that, go play in that pool. We're going to go play that fucking game with these people. All right, Mr. Uman, I sent you a question there on Signal. Let me know what you're seeing, what you got as we delve into this some more. Let's do this. In fact, thank you for letting me know. We've got Someone in our crowd got something to say. Uman says, the biggest story I saw today was that since they are tightening up the Texas border, they are now dumping illegals en masse in San Diego. Fox News caught them dumping over 200 illegals. Remember, we were getting upwards of 5,000 a day. 5,000 a day. 10,000 a day. So I'm glad that they're down to 200. But yeah, that's all they got caught. That's who got caught. How many got into the country that weren't caught on film, on camera, or whatever, were snuck in? Now, they are tightening up the Texas border, but not New Mexico, not Arizona, and not California. You want to know what the answer to this is, folks? And this scares the living shit out of Democrats. It scares the ever-loving shit out of every last left-wing scumbag. And folks, there will be a lot of injustice in this, but let me scare the fuck out of them. If I were dictator of the American states, I would tell American citizens, if you catch an illegal, and you're allowed to catch them, you can take them to the nearest police station / border patrol, and they will toss them back over, under, or through the wall. Now, if the president, dictator John, were to do that, what would happen in this country? Americans would be like, you know what? I'm tired of paying for their food. I'm tired of paying for their hospital visits they're doing. I'm tired of paying for all the credit cards they're getting. I'm tired of paying for all the handouts they get. I'm tired of seeing everyone have their cars broken into, houses ransacked, people assaulted, women raped, children murdered by these scumbags from across the border. Americans, folks, would be catching illegals like they were in a fucking fishing tournament where the fish were in a swimming pool and they could see them. Now, there would be a lot of Hispanics and people from other countries that have bad accents that could be lawful Americans. They would be harassed and hounded, and they would have to show proof of who they say they are. Just like I have to show proof. Me, if I go to the DMV, I got to show proof. If I get pulled over by a cop, I got to show proof. If I meet a cop on the street and says, show me proof. If I want to sign up for anything at the doctor, proof. Go to the fucking dentist, proof. Go to the bank. They want proof of who I am. If I go across the border and try coming back, guess who they're stopping? Me. If I want to leave the fucking country, right? Say to fly to Europe or fly to Japan, I got to show proof. If I want to vote, I have to show proof. Not these people. Enough of that shit. It's pissed people off. Now, the reason I brought it up that way, saying the average American can catch whoever they want, if the person in question, who someone else thinks is not an American, says, hey, are you an American? Or are you one of them illegals? The person says, hey man, I'm here illegally. So here's my green card. Oh, okay, you got a green card. Fine. No, man, I'm an American. Check out my driver's license. Right? Got a legitimate driver's license. I was born here. Cool. There's going to be a lot of people that don't like that, folks. Look, whatever happened, it was heroic. Now, this is, again, why I say consider the John dictator rule of catch an illegal, get them out of the fucking country. Hey, catch an illegal, get them out of the country, get a tax break. Fucking people be hunting them, folks. Hunting them, not to kill them. Hunting them for the reward. Now, what would illegals think, knowing that the average American citizen can grab them, take them down, and then throw their asses out? And if they fight back, they might get hurt. They might get killed. Yeah, you see, they would call, no, we can't do that, John. That's a vigilante society. We can't do that. We can't have the common citizen taking the law into their own hands. I'm turning into Mitch McConnell here. We need to, I'm Mitch, I'm freezing off. Yeah, they got no excuse for this because under Obama, we were told by Valerie Jarrett of the Department of Homeland Security that we need to see something, say something. Oh, so if I see something like an illegal alien, back then you're supposed to call. Get them out of here. Oh, during Cerveza bug, if you see someone without a mask, you attack them. You scream and yell at them. You kick them out of stores. You violently assault them. You call the police on them. Why aren't we doing that to illegal aliens? I don't know. I think that's a valid fucking point. The fucking government in America was ready to destroy all Americans who wouldn't take the Jim Jones juice. Wouldn't take it. It's so scary. We've all got to take it because if I take it, I'm protecting myself. But if you don't take it, you're going to kill me somehow. That bullshit, that fucking hysteria. So they're ruining people and kicking them out of their government jobs, teaching jobs, contracts, anytime, any place, anytime, any place the government could screw over America. Guess what? They would do it. But don't you dare say a fucking word to someone who's an illegal. Don't you dare complain about anyone who's illegal, even though they're here getting tens of thousands of dollars in freebies, free fucking stays in hotels, free food, free medicine, free clothing, free everything. In fact, I don't know if this is a joke or not, man. Wasn't it that illegals up north, like in Philly or Chicago or Cincinnati, the nicer cities, weren't they saying they were committing crimes hoping to get caught and deported? He's doing this. He's going, yes, that's exactly what they're fucking saying. They want out of this country. I tell you what, you dumb bastards, just head south. Walk to where it's warmer and keep walking. We'll let you right out of the country. Fuck. Okay. I'm going to get off of that horse. And I really would. If I were dictator, get the illegals out. Everyone, it's your responsibility. I don't want to hear anyone bitching about it if you're not willing to actually do the work yourself. Fuck the Border Patrol. They're idiots. They're idiots. They're partisan idiots who hate this country. Why would I count on them for anything? Same with the FBI. Now, I'm not president. I'm not a dictator, and therefore I have zero authority. But somebody during a town hall meeting decided they were going to speak their mind, which is what we should all be doing. Protesters, folks, at a Green New Deal town hall meeting. Green New Deal, you know what that means? I mean, spend trillions of dollars on worthless shit. For example, all of the windmills, all of the solar panels have reduced our dependence on oil and coal by 1%. We've spent I looked at the number up, $5 trillion to save 1% of our carbon emissions. Don't we want to eliminate carbon? So 1% is 5 trillion. So times 100. So what we're saying here is we need 5 times 100. $500 trillion. Literally half a zillion to get rid of all carbon under that idea of windmills and solar panels. And still, the wind won't always blow and the sun doesn't shine 24/7. Because, AOC said we could make a trip to the sun, but it's really hot, so we would probably want to go at nighttime when it's cooler. Literally, folks, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that. But along with everything else she said, the bitch who can eat an apple through a picket fence without getting any splinters in her lips, she was told this, quote, AOC, you sound ridiculous, you scrub. All you care about is illegal aliens. Folks, that was said by an American who's had enough shit from AOC. Protesters were going off Because what is she doing? She's coddling and protecting with her speech all the illegals at the same time while telling Americans the Green New Deal. That's what you need. What that means is more fucking taxes, more regulations, more restrictions, less freedom, less liberty. Call that bitch out. Call her out. Damn right. She's a liar and a shit sack. I mean, literally. No one has been able to explain to me how the Green New Deal is going to help anybody. All it is taxes, regulation, and loss of liberty. Wow. Okay, Mr. Uman, it is the Friday Fee for All. Who do we have up? What do we want to talk about? Well, it's Barking Wolf Spider. He says, looks like more truckers are coming down with New York City-itis. New York City-itis. Now, we were told that the truckers were going to do a trucker boycott of New York City. I think that would have been great. That would have been absolutely great. But my question is, I was also told that New York truckers are making it into New York City. Like people from other countries, left-wing truck drivers, they are going to continue to deliver into there. And some people are afraid of losing their jobs. So even if they're nonpartisan or right-wing, they're going to go into New York City. So help me out here, Mr. Uman. Is Barking Wolf Spider saying truckers actually are calling in sick and not taking loads to New York? Oh, here we are. The truckers strike organizer, strike or protest or boycott of New York City. Uman says the organizer of that must have got a call from the Teamsters Union and called it off. He said he called it off because his grandson saw him on the news and got upset. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I've had family members go, I saw you on the internet and I don't really like what you have to say, so I don't think we should talk. Good. If you don't like what I have to say, you're a fucking communist. If you think I'm too rough, I'm not the one out there shooting people like the left-wingers. I'm not the one trying to steal people's liberties and their rights and their property the way the left-wingers are. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not trying to tell children to choke down bullshit and lies about gender and gender ideology and gender identity and fucking transgenderism and every other damn thing. I'm not one of these left-wing fruitcakes out here trying to groom children as sexual toys. I'm not the left wing that is leaving the border open or trying to fight a fucking war or destroy the legal system. So people go, I don't really like your attitude, John. I don't care. I am not doing anything wrong relative to what they're doing to this country. In fact, we're waking the country up, folks. And like I said in my discussion, waking people up is not the extent of what it is we should be doing. I can wake up and lay in bed and not do a damn thing. Being awake isn't changing anything. You've got to be awake, get up, and go do something. And many of you are doing it. I'm so proud because I see the results. Now, the Teamsters. Not all truckers belong to a union. Period. Right? And if you belong to a union and you don't want to carry a load, well, play by the rules, take your chances, et cetera, et cetera. I have always said you don't have to be a part of something you don't want to be a part of or you disagree with. Get a job doing something else. A very good friend of mine, and he knows who he is, has his sons working in the trades, making real money. I know too many people that have paid for college educations and had their kids waste that money and then get a job doing something else. But my friend, thankfully, his 3 sons are out and they're making good money, working hard in trades. And you don't have to be a part of something you don't want to be a part of. Anyways, He knows who he is. They all know who they are. And the family that doesn't like me, fuck off. I don't care. There's just no reason to anymore, folks. If you look at what happened in France in the 1800s during their revolutions and their fucking throwing the king into a guillotine, murdering people, right? That's what they'll do to you. If you oppose somebody, they're going to come after you. You don't have to be in their face. You just have to be someone that they complain about. Whether it was in France or Russia or China, the last 200 years has seen so much political turmoil from radical activists, whether empowered by the government or acting in an anarchistic manner. It is a dangerous world when things get as screwed up as they are today. That's why I say you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have your plan. Be prepared. Shit has hit the fan, and it's not going to get better. It just isn't. It really isn't. Okay. Well, Mr. Uman, have we got another one out there? Let's roll, brother. It is Heidi. And she says the D.C. mayor handed out $10,000 to welfare moms to catch them up with everyone else. And the moms blew it all. I'll tell you what, anyone who is a DC mom on welfare, I'm sure they blow it all the time. And yeah, no, don't take this the wrong way. But poor people stay poor because they don't improve themselves, their ability to increase their income, or they don't work hard enough to increase their income, or they're unwilling to work to increase their income. And they hold themselves back. One of the best things you can do is learn to speak English properly. That will get you more job opportunities and more promotion opportunities. Hard work will get you more job opportunities, open up more doors for you for promotions and increases in pay. Going to work when you're supposed to, doing your job well, in fact, doing your job better than expected will get you recognition and raises. I've practiced that my entire fucking life. And it works every time it's tried. Oh, John, you're a big white guy. Of course it's going to work for you. Men over 6 foot tall get all the good jobs. No, there's short men out there doing the same job I have. In fact, in my office, let's see, I've got 3 guys that are under 6 foot doing jobs similar to me. And one that's 6 foot 1 or 2. Anyways, it's stupid shit. Yeah, the DC mayor just handing out your money. If you're a DC taxpayer, in fact, I think Washington, D.C. is subsidized by all taxpayers from across the country. Someone proved me wrong on that. Fucking D.C. is a shithole. It's where money goes, wealth goes to be destroyed and redistributed to the big guy. Okay, thank you very much, Heidi. That made me really mad. I don't know if I wanted to hear that one or not. It is Free for All Friday, and I've got Darcy T, who says 40-year-old K-pop producer was found dead at his studio. I know jack shit about K-pop, folks. But the K-pop producer's family found him. Acquaintances, family, friends, whatever. Found him collapsed on the floor in his studio in Seoul, South Korea. 40 years old. Take a wild guess, right? Take a wild guess. Thank you, Darcy T, very, 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 very much. All right, Mr. Uman. Heidi says, also, since they don't like anyone finding out about all the excess DE at high school. There we go. We got some codification. Nice work, Heidi. Since they don't like everyone finding out about all the excess deaths from cerveza bug, they changed the math equation to be more favorable. This is like changing the factors at discovering what inflation is. You know that when they figure out inflation, you know what they don't include? The cost of gas. They don't figure the cost of rent or the cost of a mortgage to live. I think those are some pretty fucking important things, right? Oh, you know what else? The biggest one of them all is they don't figure in how much taxes Americans pay. Local tax, sales tax, state tax, federal tax, car taxes, fuel taxes. Did I miss anything? They don't factor that into the cost of inflation, or rather the devaluation of the US dollar. I mean, people I know will go to the store now, get 6 bags of groceries, $300. 6 bags of groceries, $300. It used to be 6 bags of groceries was 100 to 150, depending on, what you buy. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Heidi. And now we have C. C checks in, says they changed the math they used to calculate a recession as well. Very, very true. What is a recession? What is a depression? So C says they changed the math they used to calculate a recession as well. We've been in a recession for about a year and a half, but because they changed the math, they claim we're not in a recession. Now, I will tell you that they've changed the numbers and they've changed the math for over 5 years. And then we've been in a recession this entire time. They try and use the unemployment rate as a means to determine if we're in a recession. What is the employment rate? Are there more jobs or less jobs? Well, if you get fired from one job, full-time job, and you have to go get a part-time job and a full-time job, or 2 part-time jobs, they look at that as a net increase in employment. But you just lost your fucking high-paying job. And so you've got to get another full-time job doing whatever, plus a part-time or gig job in order to pay the bills. That is an indicator of recession, or rather, what is the rate of growth? Now, the deal is if the country is increasing its production and wealth on a year-to-year basis, if you see a 0.5%, 1%, 2% growth percentage, well, that's the sign of an economy that is working and is healthy. If, however, the economy is contracting, shrinking, you go from 3% to 2%, then 2% to 1%, 1% to 0.5%, then to negative growth. You start losing jobs and businesses closing and less tax revenue. That, as soon as you start going backwards, is recessing or recession. And depression is if it drops to a certain point and it just stays there. But they don't want to tell the truth. Why tell the truth? And you're probably thinking, now, John, if they were doing that, we would fucking know. Well, guess we do know. You and me, we do know. We need to wake people up and tell them that. Share it to them. Now, here's the other SHTF factor, is the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury have been handing out cheap, free money to banks. And some of it to us, give you a little bit of your money back and go, feel better now? We fucked you out of 10 grand in taxes this year, but, we gave you 500 back. So you better say thank you. That's just it. They've been putting out free money to float the economy, to make it look and sound like it's doing well. Now, C steps back into the ring and says, after last year's record increase in Social Security, they changed the calculation for that as well. I'm now 54. 54. Are you fucking kidding me? So what am I? Am I 10 years away from getting Social Security? I didn't think it'd still be around. I'm shocked it's still around. They're changing calculations for everything. Yeah, let's see. Well, if the rate of inflation is 3%, then we're going to give Social Security recipients 3%. Because they go, well, that's the rate of inflation, or rather the rate of devaluation of the dollar's purchasing power. A lot of people use the old methodology for checking these things. And you know what the best one was that came up? It was Mike Maloney's $18 Big Mac McDonald's analogy. And here's what it is. If you look at an old 1960s McDonald's menu, you could get 2 hamburgers, which is 2 buns and 2 patties and 2 pieces of cheese, and a Coke, and a French fry for 65 cents. You could get the Big Mac French fry combo with drink. The equivalent back then was 65 cents. Today, McDonald's is as high for that value meal, for that bundled bit of goodness, 18 bucks. 65 cents to 18 bucks. You're looking at a 3,000% increase in the cost of food. No. How about a 3,000% decrease in your purchasing power? That's what they've done to our money. With well, we want inflation to be 2%. That's our target goal, is to have inflation. Inflation is an invisible tax. Inflation is a way to make shit at the fan, and they go, well, that's just the way it is. It's normal. Wow. I love the fact that I bust my ass, and it's completely pointless when they're just going to steal it from me by printing all kinds of money, either giving it to illegal scumbags or shipping it over to Zelensky so he can go waste it trying to fight the Russians. Well, he doesn't waste the money. He puts that in his bank account and sends his troops out with BB guns to go fight Russians. All right. Thank you, C, very much for keeping me good and pissed off. Wow. Okay. There is a new billboard came up in Times Square, New York City. Folks, people in New York City have had it with stupid-ass Mayor Adams, communist Mayor Adams. They're sick and tired of Kathy Hochul, the filthy witch of the West in New York, the governor. They're sick and tired of AOC and all the bullshit and lies. They are. So the billboard calls out Biden over the border. And you know what the borders, the sign, they're pissed over the border, but the billboard says this: cops aren't safe because of your open borders. I think that's fascinating. Once again, truth is easy to understand when it's written so plainly, so cleanly. Now, let me tell you this, and think about it, please. Cops are trained to handle physical violence. Period. Cops have all the tools they need to fight physical violence, from their fists to tasers, guns, batons or nightsticks. They have M16s in their car or riot shotguns available to them. They have a radio to call for backup. They have their sidearm, a pistol. Cops don't feel as safe because of the open borders. How the fuck do regular people feel if cops who are trained to handle violence have all the weapons they need and can call for fucking backup? I'm glad they put this billboard out there. I'm sure that multimedia billboards are going to be censored next by the Democrats. Well, I can't have people talking on Twitter or YouTube. No, we gotta hide them. We need to shadow ban them, take their money, fuck them over, remove subscribers, lie, cheat, steal, whatever it takes, right? Screw the cops. If anyone, folks, in America is able to take care of themselves, it's cops. Even military veterans don't have a radio that they can pick up and go, "Officer under attack. Get over here. I'm in the corner of 5th and Main. Come and save my bacon." If I were to put that kind of distress call out, who would answer it? First of all, I don't have a cop radio. So no one. Right? Who am I going to call? Man up in Chicago? "Hey, dude, I need some help, man." He's going to be like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes, John." No, it's not happening. Right? But cops aren't safe because of your open borders. And if they don't feel safe, they're not going to deal with problems very well. And this is where it kind of rolls down to the regular person. If cops don't feel safe, they're not going to go help people who really need help. They're going to be like, "Well, if we can't feel safe, then how can we help other people?" And I get it. I do. But cops really are capable of helping themselves and protecting themselves. I think that the days of the policeman who just wanders around with his hands in his pockets, la-di-da-da, well, those were over a long time ago. Because the public doesn't respect law enforcement because they've seen too much corruption and theft and graft and lies. Nobody trusts anybody the way they used to. That's the America I want back. Who's trying to kill that America? Fucking Democrats. That's who. That's who. Folks, they're destroying this country from top to bottom, inside and out. Now, Eric Bolling and Christina Bobb talk about the Attorney General for New York, Letitia James, her effort to deny Donald Trump his right to appeal the demand that he forfeit one of his buildings, that he pay how many hundreds of millions of dollars. It's absolutely off the hook. They want to deny Trump's right to appeal their judgment against him. What, Letitia James and Judge Chutkin and Judge Erdogan? By the way, Judge Erdogan, like fat-ass Fannie Willis, he's now involved in a sex scandal. Imagine that, another Democrat involved in a fucking sex scandal. These people can't keep their pants up, and who the fuck would want to sleep with them anyways? Folks, the appeal through the legal system is part of due process, of ensuring that the judicial system is operating properly and the decisions are being made properly and uniformly. That's why they have a court of appeals. And so if you got a bad judge or a bad jury, a bad judgment, a bad application of law, you can appeal, whether it's a crime or a civil penalty. You can appeal. Civil, not so much. But folks, I think civil law is off the fucking hook too. Crazy shit. Anyways, the appeal is part of due process. It's a constitutional right. And of course, Democrats want to deny the right to appeal so they can steal. That's right. They like to steal. They want to steal property. They want to steal elections. And look at what they're doing and look at who they are doing it to. Once again, stealing from Trump. No wonder so many Americans who've had enough of this shit are enamored with Trump. I hope you're prepared. I really do. Let's do this. Mr. Uman, who is up next? We have Orlando. Hey, buddy. He says, hey, here's a good, funny one for you. The I and the R and the S are calling for all taxpayers to disclose eardrum illegal activities. Illegal earnings activity. Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when the IRS was like, if you're a drug dealer, you need to declare how much money you make. If you're a prostitute, you need to declare that to the IRS. So you're going to admit you're a criminal so you can pay them more money. This is why, of course, they want to get rid of cash. We have a nearly cashless system already. Cash is a way to exchange money or currency for something of value that you want. The government always wants to step in the middle of everything and observe and go, okay, you've got something and you've got something, and you guys want to trade your currency for that stuff. I just want to make sure I get my 7.75% of it. That's all. Go ahead and make your trade. I'm watching. Literally, folks, these fucking people. It's like rational, intelligent thought is gone. For example, let me give you another example. There is a labor board that is going after Home Depot. Labor board. They're saying Home Depot violated an employee's rights because they fired him because he wrote BLM, the letters BLM on his work apron. Now, I don't think employees are required to buy their own apron. Be that as it may, folks, we got some issues here. Let me tell you what the employees' spokesliars / labor board had to say. This sounds really smart. Listen to this. It is well established that workers have the right to join together to improve their working conditions, including by protesting racial discrimination in the workplace. That was said by the NLRB. That's probably the National Labor Relations Board chairman, Lauren McFerrin, and said that in a press release, quote, "It is equally clear that an employee who acts individually to support a group protest regarding a workplace issue remains protected under the law." Yeah, you can go protest somewhere, but not while you're fucking working on the clock. All that is a bunch of legalese and bullshit designed to sound smart. But here's the facts. If you are out of uniform, you can be fired. An employer has a right to tell an employee, this is the required uniform. You can either choose to work here or you can go away. The work dress code is the work dress code. Period. You can wear whatever you want to most jobs, but hey, if there's a dress code, like, let's see, you have to wear an apron. You can't have all kinds of pins. You can't have swear words on your apron. You can't have the N word. You can't have the R word. You can't have the W word. You can't have any words on there. You can't have graffiti on yourself. Want to protest? Want to stick up for some social activist group? You do that on your own fucking time. You don't get to protest while at work. You don't get to violate the dress code by putting graffiti on your uniform. The left-wingers, folks, need to grow up. They're a bunch of little bitches. But don't worry. We got a lot more coming. And speaking of a lot more coming, we have Sunday Night Live coming up on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm expecting some shit to happen this weekend. I don't know what it is. Something doesn't feel quite right. I put my finger up in the air and feel which way the wind is blowing. Something doesn't feel quite right. It just doesn't. Mr. Uman, let's wrap the show up with one last comment from you dudes. Oh, it's from you. Perfect. Uman says, Intel also just admitted that they pay white folks less than the special groups. Special meaning protected class, meaning anyone with a limp wrist. Anyone who is a flamer. Anyone who fits the diversity, equity, inclusion profile they want. Uman says, can't wait for the anti-white racism lawsuits. It needs to happen. Discrimination based on skin color is illegal. It doesn't say discrimination based on skin color is illegal unless the person's white, and then fuck them. Unless the person's a Christian, then fuck them. Yeah, I can't wait for the anti-white racism lawsuits. Where the fuck are the attorneys? There have got to be some decent, conservative, American-loving attorneys out there somewhere. There's at least one that I know of. Anyways, Mr. Uman, thank you very much. We are going to move to the closing of the show. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is you ready? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have your plan. I'll see you Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Enjoy the weekend. Get some rest, but stay prepped. Stay prepped.